chloroformer, I guess. I don't know. Like, he tried to do a lot of things and said he was just going to hold her hostage until she loved him. So
he
had an end game.
An end game, like the Avengers.
Yeah. So at least he had a plan for the finish. It wasn't edge of your seat booking. He had this all booked out.
Yeah.
He knew what he wanted to do, and he knew what results he wanted. He's a man that knew what he wanted, and he was going to go about it any way he could to get it.
You think he's got a potential job in the?
It's probably what he did. Probably isn't half as creepy as some of the stuff Vince McMahon did. So it's possible.
Yeah, Vince McMahon is.
Vince may be like, I see a lot of myself in you, buddy. Pal, you want a job? You're hired. You think we can get that? If you can do it right. This is my daughter Stephanie's address. If I hear from her in the morning, then I know you failed. Yeah, it could be that. I mean, Vince is the one that wanted to have a story. His daughter was pregnant by him. So,
that still just drives me crazy.
I wouldn't put it past. Drives you crazy because it didn't happen or because he thought of it?
That's just
a little bit of both.
There's a lot of things, and we've talked about this before, not this particular subject, but like things that are like storylines, stuff that kind of goes too far. And that just goes too far.
Yes.
Well, do we have anyone like Linda? Did Linda have anything to say about it?
I mean, Vince would make out on stage in front of his wife.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? Over the weekend, I actually just watched the most of that WrestleMania.
Oh,
the right after.
A really
Shane
good WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was a very good WrestleMania. But yeah, that was. I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time. But that match that Shane and Vince had, and they had all those twists and turns.
Oh yeah, a good match.
Trish turned. Yeah,
probably Vince's best match ever.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't. How many matches does he have under his belt?
I think 60 some actually.
Really?
Yeah. I actually was watching a video last night. All of Vince McMahon's matches ranked from worst to best, and there's like 60 some of them.
That's a lot more than.
He's a busy man. Very busy man.
Was it all? They're all televised, or did he have some dark matches?
Yeah. No, Vince was never a dark match guy. He was always the main. He was the showstopper. So I'm just interested. Now we talked about the Vince Stephanie thing, but I just like how it went from when Stephanie was like, "No, Dad, I don't want to do a storyline where you're the father. That's just weird." I like Vince's comeback to that was, "Well, what if we do Shane's the father?" Like,
how do you go from? I mean, where do you compare that? Like, it just makes no sense to me.
Does anything make sense anymore?
No.
In wrestling?
No. Not in this world, and especially not the world.
It's 2020. Anything's possible. Like, 2020 has been a year like none other.
The year we'll never forget.
Who would have ever thought that WrestleMania would be coming from a studio with no audience?
Yeah, they told you they set a new attendance record.
Indoor attendance record.
They had a couple big fans there, though, didn't they?
They had some huge fans there. But they were up in the nosebleed section. So
yeah, they got social distance.
Yeah, they got definitely social distance. And then, so let's talk about 2020 and the year it is. This week, starting Friday with SmackDown, WWE's moving into the Amway Center with the Thunderdome. Mad Max and the Thunderdome.
That's going to be interesting. Now, what led to that?
I guess Vince wanted to change the look of the show.
I guess after 6 months of...
The Performance Center, as great of a thing as it is not a good look on TV.
Yeah, it's
not the most
bland.
Appealing to the eyes.
It's just kind of like watching some of these NBA games, and I'm not going to super go into a tangent, but like it's just weird. No people in the fan section. Nobody in the audience. Well, they have virtual fans,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool, but it's just not the same. And with going on 6 months at least, where nobody
since
in the
March.
audience, going on 6 months, time flies when you're a student.
When you're watching WWE, it crawls. But yeah, I mean, it's new. It's something new. It's
How much have they played in? Have they even really acknowledged like the fact that there isn't fans, or do they just pretend that there's fans there?
well, I mean, now that they got the developmental people there, they have fans.
They've kind of just put
se.
people. They pretty much sat people in seats,
Oh yeah,
or maybe not in seats, but no, they have like plexiglass everywhere.
Yeah, they have plexiglass.
I mean, they're doing it safe.
As safe as can be.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they're the only wrestling
you probably
company.
Didn't see it, but I definitely
they're
quoted that.
They're the only wrestling company to have a major breakout with coronavirus. So
yeah,
there's that.
How many people would you say were
the
affected?
ghost of Vince McMahon's haunting me right now, knocking my mic off the stand. They don't want me talking about this. I don't. There's been some, pretty big names that have come down with it. Renee Young came down with it. Charlie Caruso came down with it twice. So, and then various other Apollo Crews apparently came down with it. So it's pretty scary. It's a scary situation, and it kind of makes you question what I wouldn't be surprised if Vince McMahon was one of those conspiracy nuts that it's a pandemic. It's not real.
Hey, that's probably the truth. He probably doesn't think that it's as big of a deal as it is.
Well, I mean, Vince is, has been accused of being stuck in the past. So he's probably only in like 1992 right now. So he hasn't even made it to the coronavirus. He don't even know what it is.
He's still getting ready for his trial.
He's still getting ready for that steroid trial. But yeah, the Thunderdome, this Friday, we get the Thunderdome. They're going to have fans on a closed set or on LED screens all around the arena. It's supposed to be a very interactive arena. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull it off and how it looks on TV. Apparently, they want to pull out all the bells and whistles to try to make it look good on TV to hopefully get their fan base back up.
Yeah, they got to try something that's getting kind of stale. Like at first, it was different when not having fans. It was different. You're like, oh, this is weird, and then you started getting adjusted to it, and now you're just getting tired of it. That they're a big part of the show, and so we hoping that this change will bring some change.
The change enough is enough, and it's time for a change. I look forward to seeing what happened. They actually put up the link yesterday for fans to reserve the screen time for SmackDown on Friday, and within minutes they hit capacity. But I guess what I'm
How
seeing.
How much were they?
Oh, they're free.
Oh, okay.
You just had to be one of the people that signed up in time.
I'm surprised that it was free.
Yeah, so they're doing a virtual SummerSlam meet and greet for Sunday that is definitely not free. So they're going to make their money somehow. But it's kind of interesting that I guess the way they're doing it is each fan gets about 15-minute intervals on when they get to be on screen. So every 15 minutes they swap the fans that are on.
How many screens do you think they're going to have?
They said they wanted to go all the way around, like all the way around the arena. Like
it's a lot of LCD.
That is a lot. Well, I mean, you got to think. WWE was projecting they'd make about $15 million this quarter because of the pandemic. They ended up making around $75 million, which makes them look horrible for firing all those people.
Very horrible.
But so I mean, they got the money to spend. So why not spend it on LED TVs? I mean, at Walmart you can find them for pretty cheap.
You can. Those TCLs.
They're not 4Ks.
Well,
so, they could use the Roku TVs that are like $120.
Why don't they just go on a garage sale or something and go around and get some tube, man? Get some tube TVs, hang them up, mount them to the wall, mount them all around.
That would actually work. Old school. Go old school.
Yeah.
Get one of those big block TVs that's only in black and white.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Go retro with wrestling.
Let's do it.
I mean, a lot of people made a big deal that on Friday, SmackDown was rated TV 14. So it looks like the end of the PG era is here.
So what was so different? Was it more violent, do you think? Or do you think...
I didn't notice a difference, but apparently there was one.
Is it like when something's $100 and nobody wants it?
Yeah.
But if you mark it up for $200 and tell them it's half off,
everyone
eat up the sale.
Yeah, that I guess that could be what it is.
Maybe it's all mentality.
It would be interesting if the Attitude Era came back.
Well, we've had that conversation too.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to, even if it did happen, people look back on it like with rose-colored glasses. If you actually watch old Attitude Era stuff, there's a lot of bad stuff in there, like stuff that just wasn't any good. A lot of Vince Russo in the Attitude Era.
At one point, wasn't there like they split the hours? So wasn't it like Raw?
Oh yeah, the first hour was Raw, the second hour was the War Zone,
and one was like kind of like maybe the first hour was.
I think the first hour was like PG. The second hour was like
14.
TV 14.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, some of the stuff they were doing, a 14-year-old probably shouldn't be watching. I was watching.
I wasn't.
Most 14-year-olds, sure.
I wasn't.
You wasn't allowed to.
I wasn't allowed to.
Church boy.
Ah.
And then the other big news coming out, actually, this just came out today. Looks like Renee Young is leaving WWE. They don't know when her last day will be, but Renee Young is leaving WWE. Is she going to join her husband, Jon Moxley, over in AEW?
I think that could be a possibility. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
She does have a cookbook coming out.
She does?
Oh, yeah.
What's it called? Does she have a working title?
I have no clue. I don't think she's said the name.
Probably something generic like Cooking with Renee or
Cooking
something.
with Renee.
Now, is Renee Young, is that like her alias or is that actually her name? Do you know?
Good question.
That is a good question. We're going to have to look
Well,
into that.
now I think her last name would be Moxley.
You're
Her
right.
real name's probably Renee Moxley.
You're right.
Because, that's definitely Dean Ambrose's real name is Jon Moxley.
Oh, that's why he's
it's actually
under that for a while.
His last name's actually Good, John Good. But who wants to see? And now coming to the ring, John Good. Men. Oh,
could you imagine?
It'd been awesome. They could have did a Roseanne crossover with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Dropping the ball again.
We gotta get a hold of creative.
We do. I'm calling Bruce Pritchard right now. You think he answer me?
He might. I don't know what he's doing right now. What do you think he's doing right now?
Probably writing really horrible shows.
Oh.
Renee Paquette. Paquette. She's Canadian.
Oh, well, that
knew there was a reason I didn't.
That's why her name kind of sounds like Quebec.
I guess.
Yeah.
I knew there was something about her I didn't like.
Ooh, those are fighting. Well, not to me.
Those are fighting.
Not to me.
Hey,
but
I'm still holding a grudge with Canada over the Bret Hart thing. That feud is still real to me. Canadians hate us. I hate them back. And actually, Jon Moxley is from right here in Ohio, so.
Cincy, right?
Way to turn on your country, Moxley. This is why MJF deserves to be AEW champion. Because Jon Moxley turned on his entire country, married a Canadian. MJF for champion. The champion we deserve. Maybe I may have to, maybe later I'll have to play one of the MJF's campaign speeches for his campaign to be AEW champion. Because he is the champion we deserve. He's not married to a Canadian. He's all American.
America.
I mean, what kind of candidate marries an un-American? Probably the worst person ever. Trump. So Renee Young's leaving WWE. It's going to be interesting to see where she goes. If she even stays stays in the wrestling business. She actually came from to WWE from the Score Network in Canada, which which is I guess kind of like the Canadian ESPN, maybe.
The Score?
Yeah,
I think I follow them on one of my social medias.
you would, you Mark.
No, it's Alan.
It's Alan, not Mark. So yeah, so she probably, I'm sure she has enough of a history. She has a nice enough resume that she could probably go wherever she wants and get a job in sportscasting, in wrestling.
Really anywhere.
Oh yeah, I mean,
she's done great work. I mean, think about it. She does interviews, backstage interviews. She's been team.
yeah,
She's done a lot of stuff. She's built a big demo for herself.
Yeah, she could probably get a job just about anywhere at this point.
Maybe we should get her hired at OMS.
Maybe she is going to be okay. Spoiler alert: she's going to be the third person in the booth with us from now on.
You aren't supposed to tell
Or not.
anybody.
Or is she? I guess you have to keep tuning in to find out. But yeah, I mean, hey, if ESPN will hire Jonathan Cushman,
Yeah,
then
I couldn't believe that.
then
I'm playing Madden one day. I know the headlines and stuff, but he's voiceover in Madden.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's like
That was
weird hearing
awesome.
Coach. Like
It is, and they call him the coach.
Yeah, and when I think of the coach, I think of all the times like The Rock picked on him,
Right.
and everybody picked on him.
Or when he was Eric Bischoff's dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird on Madden here. And now to the coach for your halftime report. Like, oh, the coach, really?
Yeah.
The coach? You couldn't get Todd Grisham? He's with ESPN too, isn't he? I thought he was.
Beats me.
Why couldn't you get Joey Styles, Madden?
That would be sweet.
I would
Can you
have-
imagine? And if he did like the actual voiceover or the announcements,
right.
not the announcements. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Play-by-play.
God! It's a touchdown!
You sound just like him.
Oh my God! That would have been great.
I would pick up every edition of it.
I
I'd
would
get the
pick
deluxe, the superstar, the
I'd pick up
$300 edition.
I pick up 4 versions just to play them all at once. So all I hear consistently throughout the day is, "Oh my God!" That'd be great. And then like Sabu does a run-in right before halftime.
Yeah.
Speaking of halftime, it's time for us to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with more of the shooting range.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are fewer than 6 degrees separating us. We're that close. What's crazy is
50 Cent.
don't know what it is.
We're that close, Vinny?
This whole break thing
Hunger's too close for us to ignore.
isn't working out the way I wanted it to.
Well, if you were to spend more time preparing.
From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are feeding America.
that later.
All Points Bulletin. Ric Flair has been kidnapped from our studio. I repeat, Ric Flair has been kidnapped from our studio. If you see Ric Flair wandering around on the streets, please safely return him.
If it wasn't for guys like Ric Flair, I can assure you there would be no Shawn Michaels. There would be no Triple H.
Haven't we heard this before?
No Batista.
No, this just happened last time.
No, I know, but
no Chris
I feel like I've heard it before. I've heard him say that. No, I'm
Big
kidding.
Show,
Probably not.
Certainly no Drew McIntyre.
Drewy.
HB Dizzle Kizzle.
You know, that's also on that list is you, Randy Orton.
You, Randy Orton.
Like the rest of us, you don't have the same gratitude and appreciation for Ric Flair that the rest of us do. Even though you had him mentoring you for years, you had the greatest wrestler ever mentoring you on a daily basis.
And you kicked him in the head.
Why don't my thing have that thing on the side? My edition.
Like
I don't know.
he was owed that. He deserved that.
I don't use Audition. No, I think it is.
I use it for my
I don't know
documentary, for my
if you're going
voiceovers.
to meet your justice at the end of
It's
the sweet
probably some kind of UI adjustment you have to make, but I'm not sure. It's like a histogram or something.
from a Claymore at the hands of Drew McIntyre, but I can assure you that SummerSlam, you will see it coming.
I know sexy. I got the looks that drives the girls wild. I got the moves.
And welcome back to the shooting range. I am your host, Miller, and alongside me, as always, is Mr. Can't Press Paul's Alan Henny.
That's me.
That is you. So, what a good promo by Shawn
Better leave
Michaels.
Sam alone, by the way. Sam plays what it wants to play.
Obviously. What a good promo by Shawn Michaels, followed by some horrible selling from Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, within just a few minutes, was able to make the punt look like the worst move ever as he just got up from it.
He's really good at overselling and underselling.
And that was an undersell.
That was definitely undersell.
Like, I would rather him have oversold it than what he did.
Yeah. Well,
He made it look weak. Okay,
maybe not Hulk Hogan status.
so here's the thing. If Randy Orton hits that punt on Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam, what does it matter? When an old man just got up from it. If Drew McIntyre doesn't get up for it, it makes him look weak.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, I guess. But you're right. That took the thunder out of the punt because that's been a big thing, and I'm surprised that they're using that again because I always thought with like the concussion protocol.
Yeah, they stopped using it for
Seth
a
Rollins
long
had to
time.
stop curb stomping, but didn't he start that back?
Yeah,
up?
they let him do that. They let him bring that back. It looks like they're letting the punt come. Well, obviously not. Looks like they definitely are.
Yeah, the punt. That's always been a favorite move of mine. I know it looks painful. Obviously, anyone gets kicked in the head, but how long? Shawn was out for like a split second. Next thing you know, you look over and he's sitting in the turnbuckle.
Right.
The turnbuckle.
Drew McIntyre sold better than Shawn Michaels. That's always been my problem with Shawn Michaels. It's even now, even born again, and he's a changed man. He still has problems just letting his ego go and doing what's best for business. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Raw. Raw started out with Drew McIntyre coming out to cut a promo. You know, he kind of ran down Randy Orton a little bit for what happened last week with Ric Flair. He talked about different legends that Randy Orton has come in contact with. Then his feed was cut off because Retribution went into the studio truck and took over and cut the feed. I mean, he was only out long enough for them to play commercials. Then all of a sudden, magically, they were able to get the production truck up and running.
They have a second one they didn't tell Retribution about.
Oh,
there's a second.
Oh, it's camouflage.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even see it.
It's actually wrapped in John Cena vinyl.
Oh, so you can't see it. That actually makes sense.
Yes.
So after that, we got a bunch of playbacks for that. Drew McIntyre was backstage with a group of guys. He was interrupted by Seth Rollins and Murphy. Looks like they're setting up maybe a little thing between those two after SummerSlam. Maybe we'll see Seth Myers.
That would be great.
Seth Myers versus Drew McIntyre after SummerSlam. That's going to be a match.
Yes.
Weekend update.
I've got Drew on that.
I got Seth Myers. Any man that can host a late night talk show like that, I got him. But yeah, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre looks like they're kind of set up to that for after SummerSlam. So we got all that. You know, they hype up that Rey Mysterio is supposedly in the building tonight. You know, Seth is not worried, though, because why would he be? He only took the man's eye out.
Yeah.
Destroyed his kid.
One Eye Ray.
Yeah, One Eye Ray. That was my nickname in high school.
Actually, really?
Well, One Eye J, but it's all the same.
All right.
I used to pretend I was a pirate.
Arr.
After that, guess what time it is? And, well, it's time to open for business.
Oh.
The Hurt Business, that is. The best thing on Monday Night Raw, MVP, Bobby Lashley, my boy Bobby, and Shelton Benjamin. I mean, Bobby's pretty impressive. I mean, who else? Only man on the roster that's been picked by a U.S. president to defend his hair is Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, and he was successful.
He was. I think Trump was. Never mind. So
thinking back though. Let's think about this. And
yes.
I'm going on to a tangent.
Okay.
And you think that would have been written differently? Donald Trump would have lost his hair. You think he would have just stuck with it from then on out? Like, you know, Kurt Angle kept it, lost his hair, didn't bring it back. You think Donald Trump would be a bald president right now?
I think he is a bald president that wears a really bad toupee.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Maybe. I mean,
would he break kayfabe?
Maybe he would have never became president. Maybe losing his hair would have shamed him so bad.
We never would have saw him again.
That he went into hiding.
Or that.
Kind of like, you know, he does now in D.C. where he goes down into his bunker. It kind of be like that, but he would have never came out. He would have stayed hidden.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20. I guess we'll never know.
If only Umaga would have won, we could have been safe from Donald Trump right now.
Well, it's not the way the story was written, so.
Do you think Vince booked all this? He's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, Donald. Tonight, you're gonna have your man beat me and shave my head, and then in 10 years, you're gonna run for president. And you're going to win. And you're going to give my wife a job.
Yeah, that's...
Get her out the house. It's hard to sneak people in when she's there.
That's probably very accurate.
It was all booked. Vince is booking the country right now. Not just WWE, the country.
You think Vince has some kind of secret tunnel from, like, Connecticut to D.C., like an Amtrain or something, where he can go back and forth.
Like a back door he can go in?
Yeah, kind of, or like when we go from Chicago, like, you know, talking about Cleveland to Chicago, they're talking about making that. If they had something like that just for Vince to run to the Washington D.C. and he's like whispering in Trump's ear, like all the things he thinks.
I would not be surprised.
See, now you see what I'm saying.
I would not be surprised if there was a back door that Trump had that he lets Vince in. to whisper in his ear. I would not be surprised if any of that happened.
Well, so what else happened on Raw? Any other juicy, lovely things?
Is that really what word we're going to use right now?
Yes.
So we got that. We got an MVP promo. Then we had Apollo Crews versus Shelton Benjamin. Apollo Crews won. And Apollo Crews won Shelton Benjamin won the 24/7 championship.
But see, now he doesn't have. He's got all these people around him to protect him.
Oh yes,
He's got the Hurt Business to protect him. So let's see how long his championship reign is.
let's see. And then they made a challenge: the Hurt Business versus Apollo and any two partners of his choosing for later on in the night. Then we had more of Angel Garza backstage with that bachelorette chick that I don't know why she keeps coming up there every week.
She's trying to get a job.
I guess so. And then they had a little interaction between him and Ivar from the Viking Raiders. Set up for a match for later. Then we have Ivar versus Angel Garza. Angel Garza picks up the win. Andrade and Vega join him in the ring. Demi and Dawkins then appear on the big screen. Dawkins taunts him a little bit, blah, blah, blah. Joe says that there's a video out there that Vega doesn't want anyone to see.
I wonder what that video is.
Not happy about that. Then when we come back, the video actually shows Vega poisoning a red cup belonging to Montez Ford. So a few weeks ago when he was poisoned, turned out it was Selena Vega, which kind of disappoints me because I think that's just a simple way to go. That's the easy way out. Everyone was expecting it to be her. Why not make it someone no one expects?
That's because you said it.
No.
The easy way out.
Easy way out. After that, we have Mickie James versus Natalya. I was really disappointed in this match. Mickie James deserves so much better than she got in this match. I know a lot of people online were upset about it as well.
The IWC?
Yes, the IWC.
They were outraged.
They were outraged. And so was I. She definitely deserved better than that. But you get what you get. Okay. So let's talk about this. A few weeks on his podcast, Bruce Pritchard called out Nick Aldis, the NWA champion, who is also the husband of Mickie James. He said Nick Aldis just didn't have the talent, whatever. Nick Aldis, of course, shot back at Bruce. Why wouldn't you? This man is, kind of degrading you.
You got to defend yourself.
Right.
You don't have to answer to everything, but
no. But
if someone flat out says, "Hey, you don't got no talent,"
right? The guy's the NWA champion.
Obviously he's got some kind of talent,
right? So and the fact that he shot back and Bruce is the one running, Raw right now, and then his wife gets just jobbed out like that on TV.
That
sounds like Bruce being petty as usual.
You're going to go on there and you're going to lose.
I've worked with Bruce in the past, so it doesn't surprise me. I'm not a big fan of his. After that, we had the Golden Role Models versus Asuka and Shayna Baszler. Of course, Baszler and Asuka pick up the win. And this is setting up for Sunday when Asuka takes on both Bayley and Sasha Banks in two different matches, both of those women defending their women's title against Asuka. Should be interesting.
I'll be watching.
Of course you will. So we got that. We got Rey Mysterio. We find out Rey Mysterio is definitely there tonight. We got some backstage stuff with Apollo. Oh, well, that was just right in the mic. Some backstage stuff with Shawn Michaels. All that fun stuff. They hype Michaels so much for what Iconics backstage. They mock Ruby Riott in them. We have Ruby Riott versus Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce picks up the victory. We see some more hype for Raw Underground. We get to see Dolph Ziggler and Eric go at it. with Dolph Ziggler pretty much picking up the win. Ivar getting into it with Ziggler. Rey Mysterio and Dominic come out after that. They have the little thing with Seth Rollins. And then we see the 6-man elimination. We see the Hurt Business with Apollo Crews, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali. Cedric Alexander picks up 4-7 title during this match. The Hurt Business does pick up the win with Lashley being the last man remaining. And then we have, Akira Tozawa picks up the title from Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, that whole thing gets so confusing because that title changes hands all the time. It's so hard to keep up with.
Then we have Akira Tozawa versus Shelton Benjamin. Cedric Alexander wins the title in the match between Tozawa and Shelton. Yeah.
Yeah,
so that happened. We see some more Raw Underground stuff. Nia Jax comes in. She beats up 2 of.
Wait, I didn't understand that. I thought she was suspended.
She's suspended from Raw. But, Raw Underground is.
It's its own entity.
Yeah.
It's like NXT or SmackDown.
Anything can happen. The only rule in Raw Underground is you don't talk about Raw Underground.
All right.
But you show it on live TV every week. So we're breaking the rule right now, actually.
Oh.
But Nia Jax comes in. She beats up 2 Shayna Baszler's friends, and then she runs off scared. Which kind of makes Nia Jax look weak, but it makes her look like a good heel at the same time. So we got that. Then we had Andrade versus Montez Ford. Montez Ford picks up the win. Then we come back and we have Shawn Michaels doing his speech that we showed you earlier. He ends up getting attacked by Randy Orton. He pretty much no-sells it. Randy Orton hits the pun on him. Drew McIntyre gets an RKO and a pun himself. And that was Raw going off the air. Overall, wasn't a big fan of Raw this week.
Yeah, the highlight probably was Shawn Michaels not
selling. Yeah. I think I still think the best thing going on Raw is the Hurt Business right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the number one thing going on, on Raw. They bring entertainment to Raw.
Very interesting. Very interesting. The formation of that. And did anyone see that coming? I mean,
I honestly, what I'd like to see MVP win the United States title. I'd like to see Bobby Lashley win the WWE title. And I would like to see Shelton Benjamin keep his 24/7 title. And they
have like Evolution 2.0.
They are running the show pretty much.
That's plausible. That's a possibility. That would be sweet to watch. But who ends up with the title? Does McIntyre retain?
I don't see McIntyre losing the title at SummerSlam. I don't think he's had the run. I think they're going to try to keep him with fans more or less coming back, a live audience more or less coming back. I think they're going to keep the title on him to see what kind of reaction he gets with the live crowd, even though they are on video screens.
Yeah, because he won that event at Mania, right?
Yeah. He's never defended the title in front of the crowd.
People. Yeah.
Right. So I think they'll keep the title on him to see how the crowd reacts to him as champion.
Do you think he gets? What do you think there's going to be? Obviously, it's most times there is a championship match like that. There's going to be some swerves at SummerSlam.
Oh, sure.
I think Shawn Michaels. I think something will happen. A ref will take a bump. Michaels will hit sweet chin music. There will be some kind of
screw job.
Yes, there will be.
I mean, but honestly,
that still won't make Drew look weak.
Well, I mean, with Drew being champion and being a babyface at that, you kind of want him to retain his title cleanly. You don't want to give the bad guy, the heel, an excuse to say, "Oh well, I would have been."
You're right. That would kind of go against the whole babyface thing, but in the same sense, we were talking about how there's no payoff with Ric Flair. Now, at least if since Shawn no-selled basically, pulled a Ultimate Warrior at
I would rather see, he also attacked Christian. He also attacked Big Show. Ric
There's got to be a
Flair,
payoff to that,
Edge.
though, like we were saying. Like,
I
Ric Flair
would-
doesn't get a payoff, but
I
mean,
wouldn't-
HBK can still.
I wouldn't
go.
mind seeing Drew McIntyre beat Randy Orton. After McIntyre leaves the ring, Randy Orton's trying to get back up after the Claymore or whatever, and have maybe Christian come out.
Hit him with
And-
Unprettier.
and Christian, attack him, give him some, kind of, getting his payback from when he got punted, because he was really the first one to get punted by Randy Orton in this new incarnation of the Legend.
This is the big blow off, though, right? Like, this is they're not gonna. You think they're gonna continue this, or do you
They
think
may. 'Cause
Orton's go into what? Into Survivor Series?
I don't think they'll take it that far, but I
It's a
definitely
pretty good feud.
I definitely think it'll continue. My only thing is, if they don't, who on Raw is in that spot where he can challenge Drew?
Question.
And you
Lashley. That's actually the entire reason I brought that up about SummerSlam is you'd said you'd like to see him. You'd like to see Lashley win the championship.
I would.
So how does that happen? I'm just trying to look forward into the future. So that's why I was wondering if he takes it from McIntyre, or if he takes it off Randy Orton. And McIntyre and Lashley are better.
Yeah, and
they're both,
Lashley,
large
Lashley
men.
and Orton are both heels right now.
Mm.
So a Lashley Orton match wouldn't make much sense. So I would definitely say go with Lashley
Unless
McIntyre.
somebody, unless Randy wants to Big Show it out. And, no.
Wouldn't make sense right now. Especially, I think they want to get more out of him and Edge when Edge is healthy to wrestle again. I think they want to do more with Randy and Edge. So I think they'll keep Randy heel for the time being, in my personal opinion. But we'll find out at SummerSlam. So before we go to our commercial break, let's go down the SummerSlam card and let's give our predictions here. So Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Who do you have?
I definitely got McIntyre, but that's why I was questioning it. But the more you talk about it, I definitely have Drew retaining.
I'm going to go with McIntyre as well. Braun Strowman versus The Fiend. Who do you have?
Oh, that's.
They kind of did a reversal this past Friday. Kind of seems like Braun turned heel while The Fiend turned face.
I shot in the dark. I'm going to say The Fiend.
I'm thinking The Fiend too. I think Braun's title reign has been lackluster. I think they need to get it back on The Fiend. Asuka versus Sasha Banks.
I'm gonna go with I think Asuka. I don't know. Asuka has been pretty strong looking lately, and
Yeah, I'm going to go with Asuka as well. Then we have Asuka versus Bayley.
Bayley's gonna keep her.
You think?
Yeah, I think Bayley.
I can see Asuka taking both titles.
2 belts.
Asuka 2 belts. I don't know what they're going to call her, but then we have the Street Profits defending the tag team titles versus Andrade and Angel Garza.
I think that's going to be another title change.
I'm thinking the Street Profits are going to retain their titles. Then we got Apollo Crews defending the United States title versus MVP.
I think that's going to be the start of what you were talking about earlier. I think MVP is going to grab it up.
Then we got Dominic Guerrero Mysterio versus Seth Rollins.
This probably has to be the most obvious choice. Dominic, man. I think Rey Mysterio is going to get his revenge.
I'm thinking Seth's going to win.
You think?
I don't think they're going to. I think it's going to be a screwy finish. I definitely think Seth's going to win. I don't think they're going to give Dominic win his first match.
Did we talk about this? Does he have like an official contract? Is he going to be,
I don't know
or is
if he
this
actually
kind of
has
like
a
a
contract.
one-off type, like a Shane McMahon type match where it's going to be a once in a while?
I'm
You never know if it's
actually
going to happen again.
Not sure exactly what is really going on with him. He may have a contract. He may not.
Really hasn't been publicized all that much. Well, I guess we beg to differ on that.
And then we have the hair versus hair match. We have Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose. Loser loses their hair. Who you got?
I think Mandy Rose is going to win that.
I don't see Mandy Rose going bald.
No.
I can see Sonya Deville going
Yeah.
bald. I think the real winner is going to be her stalker sitting in jail watching on TV.
You think they got the network in jail?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Why wouldn't they?
Hey, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, slip the
load
guard
the
a
books
few,
up. Yeah.
yeah, slip the guard a few cigarettes,
Some Twinkies.
some Twinkies, maybe a soup or two, and he'll bring in his laptop and let you watch your girlfriend wrestle.
It's going to like set up a little thing
Yeah,
and put it
like-
outside the window.
Like, dude, my girlfriend's wrestling. I want to see it.
We'll
And
see.
What we want to see right now is some commercial breaks. So we'll be back with more shooting range right after this. I have to get something to drink. And maybe a snacky pig. Too many still snacks.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
This is a pretty dark commercial.
I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke,
I remember hearing this commercial on the radio.
I don't.
but their body
Did you hear it on allsportscleveland.com?
clear.
No.
Having a stroke. You just need to know the 7 signs. Look for FAST. F-A-S-T.
F-A-S-T.
Arm weakness.
What'd you call me?
Speech difficulty. Then T.
Like my back door.
Time to call
My back door.
911.
That was great.
Once they get to the hospital, the smoke will get treated.
Hey, see if we're on side.
I hope not.
Know the 7 signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I felt secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I did the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations and let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal.
So all of our PSAs are basically, don't do drugs, kids.
Don't start forest fires.
Don't start forest fires and don't do drugs. I'm not kidding. I'm worried.
What if I would have not came back?
What's that?
What if I would have just not came back?
I'm gonna go. Good luck. Well, at that point, I think to just come on the radio and be like,
That's the show.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000.
Well,
Did you know that?
Major legal fees,
one radio station messaged me
major
back.
fines,
That's awesome.
and steep insurance penalties.
It's not. You're like, I don't really.
They said
I'm going to school. I don't really want to get into this.
They're no longer offering any programs in the Cleveland market.
Oh, that's why.
That's probably what fucking Amanda was talking about the other day.
I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous.
Hey, Joe.
If you see someone in danger,
If you see someone in danger,
step in and make a difference.
call Quagmire.
Forest Service or State Forester and the Ad Council. Learn more.
Giggity, giggity.
Only you. Wildfires.
Imagine me, a dog, moving in with a human. I didn't know how it would work. Turns out, my human's pretty entertaining. For instance, every time I give my human his ball, he throws it as far as he can. And I'm like, dude, that's your ball. So I go get it, but he just throws it. Again. I gotta say that.
I'm pretty happy. I'm within seconds of top of the hour.
Nice.
A person is the best
About
thing
time.
to a
You
shelter
did it
pet.
right.
Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
This is everyone's favorite season, autumn, the triple threat, and you're listening to All Sports Cleveland.
So now that I posted that picture,
Christmas classic.
This is everyone's favorite season.
and welcome back to the shooting range. I am your host, the old school thriller, Jay Miller, and next to me is Squeaky Wheel himself, All Elite, Alan Henney. And usually we're running down what's going to happen on AEW tonight, but there's no AEW tonight.
Yeah, they decided to up and move to Saturday night this week.
Darn NBA.
Don't you start. I'm still crying.
I like my sports. I like real sports like wrestling, not choreographed stuff like basketball.
God forbid.
I mean, we all know what's going to happen. We all know it's scripted beforehand.
Exactly. The refs are paid off.
The refs are paid off.
That's
No
why.
one's
That's why the
really-
Lakers couldn't pull off a win last night.
No one's really making baskets. It's all done by CGI. I've seen
I saw some
Space
stuff
Jam.
last night. Yes,
I've
but
seen Space Jam. I know what really is happening.
I saw Damian Lillard could not be stopped last night. I couldn't believe it. I think it was CGI because he was hitting 30-plus foot three-pointers.
What are the Munstars doing this year?
Oh, they're still quarantined. They didn't make it to the bubble. They were
I
gonna
mean,
get-
they're coming from space, so
Yeah, so they didn't make it to the bubble this year. Maybe next year.
I
Next
am excited
bubble.
for Space Jam too.
That looks like it is going to be a wonderful movie. Did you see the
Uniforms?
Yes.
Yes, I did. Is Danny DeVito going to be back in it?
That would be preferable.
He needs to be.
I'll have to check IMDb. I'll have to check that out, see what the list is.
So, anyways, because this show is definitely about cartoon basketball.
TNT, basketball, TNT,
same
AEW, Dynamite.
AEW will be on Saturday this week. Their schedule actually varies for the next few weeks because of NBA that no one watches anyways. Except for you.
Yeah, except for me and a whole lot. Well, there's a lot. Well, you know what? We're not going to get into the NBA.
So, anyways, last week
Lakers in 5. That's all I'm saying.
Last week on
As I'm wearing a cast
AEW
hat.
Dynamite, the Dark Order versus the Young Bucks. We saw the Young Bucks pick up the victory. MJF is shown walking the hallway with his campaign party. He is ready to be the AEW champion. He makes a nice speech, but he is attacked by Jon Moxley. And in All Out, it will be Jon Moxley versus MJF for the AEW World Championship. I'm kind of hoping to see MJF take it.
That should be interesting. That's my go-to. This should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. When is forgive me? When is this show?
I don't know yet. I can't. It's like
It's a minute away.
Yeah,
isn't it like?
So yeah, I think it's like 3 weeks away, maybe.
Yeah, so it's not that far away.
No, it's coming up.
It's like beginning of September, mid-September, something like
about
that.
mid-September.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good card.
Backstage, we have Matthew Hardy doing an interview.
Matthew, did he?
He's going by Matthew Hardy.
Oh, that's a first, right?
Oh yeah.
Matthew Hardy 1.0.
Yeah. And he wants to go after Sammy Guevara for last week when he got busted open from that chair by Guevara.
Yeah, that was ugly.
That was ugly. He ends up beating up referee Mike Posey thinking that he is Sammy Guevara when he is not. Then we have the TNT Championship match, Cody versus Scorpio Sky. Of course, Cody retains the title. Mr. Brody Lee appears on the screen. And that sets up for Saturday night when it's going to be Brody Lee versus Cody for the AEW TNT titles. We come back and we have Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus Jurassic Express. That's Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. Of course, Adam Page and Kenny Omega retain their AEW tag team titles. Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, that's Luke Perry's son.
Really?
You did not know that.
No.
Jungle
the
Boy
late
is
great Luke Perry?
The late great Luke Perry. Yeah, Jungle Boy is his son. And Luchasaurus was on a season of Big Brother. So a lot of celebrity on that team.
Yeah. Not as good as Mr. Miz, Mike Mizanin.
No, not as great. He was on the Real World.
Yeah.
And Tough Enough.
Yes.
I think Luchasaurus may have been on Tough Enough too. Anyways, Santana and Ortiz are backstage, destroying stuff that belongs to the best friends. They pour bleach on everything. The Butcher and the Blade are backstage. They pick the Road Warriors as the greatest tag team of all time in opinion. And then we come back, and it's my favorite segment of the night. In the ring, you have the Young Bucks, FTR, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and the Rock and Roll Express. And it's pretty much just a love fest with everyone just loving on everyone else until Tully Blanchard was the voice of reason and said it all made him sick. And he doesn't want nothing to do with it. A brawl breaks out when Hardwood goes down with a bad knee. Everyone's distracted by what's going on stage with Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. FTR attacked the Rock and Roll Express.
That'll get him a lot of.
That's one way to get heat for sure. And then,
how old are they now?
Oh, in their 60s.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
At least their 60s.
At least.
And they gave a spike pile driver to Ricky Morton. I guess turning FTR heel.
That's suiting for him, I guess.
That's one way to put it. That's suited. And then we have in our main event, we have Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's not our main event. They did some stuff backstage. So let's see. And then we had Hikaru Shida versus Heather Monroe. Heather Monroe picks up the victory. Or no, I'm sorry. Shida picks up the victory. Jake Roberts cuts a promo backstage as Lance Archer just beats up guys. We got that. Next Monday, the semifinals of the Deadly Draw Tournament. Saturday, the finals will happen on Dynamite. They announced the card for next week as FTR will take on Private Party, Alex Reynolds, Alan Angels, and John Silva versus Elite in six-man tag team action. The finals of the Deadly Draw, Darby Allin in action. The Butcher and the Blade team up with the Lucha Brothers to take on Jurassic Express and the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. And Cody defends the TNT Championship against Mr. Brody Lee.
Is he double head that there?
It's going to be this coming Saturday. It's going to be Saturday's show. And then our main event, the $7,000 obligation match, Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. If Jericho wins, Orange Cassidy has to pay him $7,000 for that beautiful jacket that he ruined.
We really got to talk to Chris about not wearing expensive things.
Doesn't John Moxley still owe him money for a coat as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So yeah,
but I think doesn't. What about the plant? Well, didn't that plant have a name?
The plant did have. I can't remember what the plant's name was. It did have a name though.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the plant, who we can't remember the name of because we are soulless.
Oh.
But Orange Cassidy picked up the victory in kind of a sloppy finish. But Orange Cassidy picks up the win against Chris Jericho.
Oh, so
not many people saw that happening.
He's not writing a check now?
He does not have to pay the $7,000.
Wow.
Must be nice.
Like Tony Khan was like, well, if you're getting out of that 7,000, I don't have to pay you for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, your obligation's free, but
Makes sense.
I just saved you $7,000. The least you could do is work one night for free.
Right. Makes sense. Then AEW Dark, which premiered last night on YouTube. Kip Saban with Penelope Ford defeated Michael Naka.
I'm not going to try to.
Zawa.
I'm going to try to pronounce that.
Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss defeated Frank Stone and Sean Dean. Sean Spears with Tully Blanchard defeated Will Hobbs. The Hybrid 2, Angelico and Jack Evans from the Heavens defeated The Initiative, Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon with Leva Bates. Abaddon defeated Red Velvet. 6-man tag team match, The Dark Order, Alex Reynolds, Colt Cabana and John Silva defeated D3, Fabu, Andre, and Risen. I've never heard of any of these guys.
Well, that's why they're on the dark.
Ricky Starks defeated Lee Johnson. Santana and Ortiz defeated Baron Black and Tony Donati. Lance Archer defeated Jesse Sorensen. Oh, he was another guy that was on Big Brother. And John Cruz. Billy Gunn defeated Alan Angels. 8-man tag team match. The Butcher and the Blade teamed up with the Lucha Brothers. They defeated Private Party and SCU. So those are your results from AEW Dark this past week, or yesterday, actually. So AEW, I think I want to say Dynamite was a brilliant show. I am not going to give them show of the week, though.
Oh, well, maybe this week will be different.
I am going to give show of the week for last week. I'm going to give it to SmackDown. I think SmackDown was a brilliant show, all in all, from start to finish.
You don't hear that a lot coming out of your mouth that often, at least.
No, but SmackDown did take the victory.
Now, so this whole Saturday thing, I know obviously because of the NBA, but they could have picked another night, right?
They could have, but they wanted to go with Saturday at 6 o'clock, kind of like that old WCW. WCW Saturday night. It's coming at 6:05 on TBS, the Superstation.
But isn't there like another promotion doing a show that at that time?
I think NXT Takeovers that night. Could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it is.
That's what I was thinking, because they do takeovers every, the four big shows. So they always have takeovers Saturday night. So that's what I was thinking. So what a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Well, really, I think that's the only day TNT really had open for
Well, here's
anything.
the thing.
They give all the NBA players a Saturday night off, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, and we're actually going to go over the takeover card here in a second. But TNT also owns TBS. Why not just put it on TBS for Wednesday night? Instead of moving the nights, just move the station. And then if anyone turns into TNT at 8 o'clock, you scroll at the bottom. AEW Dynamite is live on TBS right now.
Well, like I said.
Because what else does TBS have to play on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock?
That's a good question. But
what is Saved by the Bell reruns? More Friends?
Well, I think that this whole Saturday night thing just works in their favor. They're like, oh, we can compete. We're already competing on Wednesday nights.
There's a reason that wrestling is not on Saturday nights anymore.
And why
and
is
it's because no one on a Saturday night wants to sit at home and watch wrestling.
Well, back in territory days and things like that.
It's different back then.
Yeah, people gathered around the television set. That was a thing. Families got together and sat down and enjoyed.
And wrestling was a big deal back then.
Yes, it's a very big deal. People sat around, and now they don't do that anymore. Everything's streaming. Everything's at your leisure with a
DVR,
VCR, then a DVR
on demand.
Everything's just.
So it should be, and they got competition from NXT with their takeover.
Yeah,
they should have Wednesday night. If you get TNT in your cable pack also going to get TBS most likely. Why not just move it over to TBS? Would have made the most sense.
Well, that's just they didn't see it that way. But what are you going to do?
Maybe they need to hire me then.
But I mean, they hype it up. Well, maybe they should, and then poof, our show's gone. I'd be happy for you though.
I'm sure the people listening would be happy if it was gone too.
Oh, that's not very nice.
So NXT TakeOver this weekend. We have Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee.
Mr. Punter himself.
Mr. Punter himself. If he would have punted Shawn Michaels, I bet he wouldn't have got up.
Yeah, he would have sold that a lot harder.
We have Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship. We have Bronson Reed versus Damian Priest versus 3 to-be-determined competitors in a ladder match for the NXT North American Championship. Then we have Keith Lee defending the NXT Championship versus Karrion Kross. We have Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Swerve Scott for the Cruiserweight Championship. And that's your TakeOver card. Let's talk about this. Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. Who do you take?
This has been a kind of brewing. This rivalry has been brewing for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say Adam. Adam's taking it.
Think Adam's taking it?
I don't know. It depends on how much they put into the match. If it's going to be kind of like gimmicky thing, or are we taking Pat McAfee serious?
I mean, he kicked Adam Cole's head off his shoulder last week, so possibly.
No, it's up in the air. We'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, I don't think I have all the faith in Pat, man.
We'll have to see. I guess time will tell what's going to happen this coming Sunday or Saturday. NXT TakeOver. It'll be happening live from the Thunderdome. Pretty sure it's going to happen from the Thunderdome. They may still do NXT from the Performance Center.
Well, that is where it's always at, right?
Well,
not from. I mean, obviously, when they were touring, would be, in the Big Four. You'd have, Brooklyn or whatever.
They weren't really from the Performance Center. They kind of had their own arena. They were on Full Sail University campus, but they didn't do the Performance Center. They had their own kind of studio where they did NXT every week. So it'll be interesting to see if they do. They may want to do the Thunderdome just to have that virtual audience there.
So does that mean SummerSlam is going to be there confirmed? Or?
Oh, yeah. SummerSlam will be in the Thunderdome.
1,000% be from the Thunderdome.
It will be.
Or Hulk Hogan would show up and probably call it something else.
He will. Like the Astrodome, brother.
Yeah.
He may call it something else and get everyone kicked off TV.
There's a possibility.
Like, you can't call it that, Hogan. Can't say that word anymore. So yeah, that's going to be.
And what time do I tune in for that? For the NXT Takeover? Do they have?
Soon it's going to start at 8.
So do they have? Have they been doing like a pre-card? They always have like a pre-show on.
NXT really don't do the pre-shows. That's mainly WWE big shows for WWE. So I doubt that they're going to have a pre-show. Pretty sure. So it either starts at 7 or 8. I don't know. I won't be watching. I will be watching AEW.
Oh, that's the card you're taking. You just.
Yeah.
Well, the thing you can always. It's probably easier for you to watch AEW live, and then go back on the network and watch the Takeover.
Right.
So,
it's easier that way. Then this past week on Impact Wrestling, TJP took on Raju Crispe for the X Division title. Raju won the X Division champion. They did more Wrestle House stuff. We have Trey Miguel versus Moose for the TNA World Championship. Moose picked up the win. EC3 actually took the title, came and he actually stole the title from Moose. So we had that. We had Hernandez backstage, some Eric Young stuff, some more backstage stuff,
You're just not a fan.
more
are you?
backstage stuff.
You just don't like the backstage stuff.
No. And then we finally got to match 3 after all that backstage stuff. Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus Gallo and Anderson. Of course, you know who picked up the win there. The Good Brothers, Gallo and Anderson. More Wrestle House. Russell House. Tag team titles, the North versus the Motor City Machine Guns. And Motor City Machine Guns picked up that victory in 2 hours. 4 matches. And this was supposed to be like their big show. This was supposed to be like pay-per-view show. This was night 1 of Emergence. It was supposed to be a big show. Pay-per-view quality. They give us 4 matches in 2 hours. And a whole bunch of hokey, fake reality show.
Well, maybe Wrestle House isn't fake.
Maybe you're fake.
And maybe I'm fake news.
Maybe you like pineapple on pizza.
I do.
And Wrestle House, and you don't deserve to be on this show.
Right. Well, I kayfabe put my 2-week notice in.
You know what?
I'm waiting.
You go
What do I
across
do?
the hall to the other radio station then.
I might just do that. Are you
Every
insisting?
Wednesday from 4 to 6.
Except for today.
Except for today. Starting next week. NCU. The Long Drive Home. North Coast Underground. I mean, not
Wait,
yeah,
what?
yeah, that was the thing. Starting next week at 4 o'clock. North Coast Underground.
That's official.
It is official, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, because we have this show to talk about.
We
Well,
have
we have
this show.
time to talk about since there was only 4 matches.
There's only 4 matches and 2 horrible reality segments, or 3. There's probably more reality segments than wrestling matches.
Well,
Yeah. Impact, you get an F again.
well, you know, that's a bunch of Fs. Eventually.
AEW gets a B minus.
Oh.
I'm going to give Raw a C. SmackDown, I'm going to give them a B plus.
SmackDown gets a B plus, and
B plus.
that was your show of the week too.
That was my show of the week. It
So your
wasn't
show-
even a show. That's how bad wrestling is right now. But Impact, you get an F. You fell as usual.
They're used to it by now.
They are. They're just like, we're not even going to put effort in. They probably like seeing me get all worked up. So like, hey, let's do more Wrestle House segments because that guy on that show in Cleveland, Ohio hates them.
They get an F for effort.
Effort. Not for effort, for something else that I can't say on the radio. So that's the grade they get this week.
Well, that's cool. So we're going with SmackDown. That's the show of the week.
SmackDown was the show of the week, and it wasn't even a great show, but it was.
It was the best. It came out. So does that give everyone else a curve though? Then
It's like if someone walks up and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna punch you in the eye. I'm gonna punch you in the stomach, and you tell me which one felt the best." They're both gonna suck, but one of them ain't gonna suck as much as the other, I guess.
Yeah. I just thought maybe the
Like
rest
I'd
of
probably rather get punched in the stomach than the eye,
I just thought maybe the rest of the grades would get curved a little bit because
all the way into the ground.
okay.
You're right. Impact gets an F minus.
Oh,
Even
I'm
worse.
glad you
than that.
reconsidered.
Even worse than that.
I'm glad you reconsidered. I didn't know that even existed, but
It does today on my show. But we are going to get ready to take another commercial break here in just a moment. And when we come back, we're going to talk about scandal in Pennsylvania, New Jersey area. We talked about a big show that was happening this past Sunday on Fight live from Pittsburgh or from Pennsylvania, New Jersey area.
now we can disclose because it's over.
Yeah, it was undisclosed, but I saw it. It was in one of the, I didn't go, but I ordered it on Fight, and it was a great show, and it's still on Fight for anyone that wants to order the replay. But there was a lot of controversy that happened. When we come back, we're actually going to have the promoter from the show on the show. He's going to talk about.
What a pleasant surprise.
Oh, yeah. And he's going to talk about what happened. He may have some truth bombs to tell us about what happened in violence and suffering this past Sunday. Why didn't things go as planned? Why did they have to adapt? He's got a lot to say, and I don't think you want to miss what he has to say when we come back right here on the shooting range.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are fewer than 6 degrees separate us. We're that close. What's crazy is 1 in 6 don't know where their next meal is coming from. These are your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger is too close for us to ignore. So visit
Hey, thanks 800 number for calling. Thank you so much for destroying my
Your life
pristine live feed.
Together we are feeding America.
Message from Feeding America and the announcement.
Ranger Station. Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting in the forest. 1 second, I'm having a smoke. Next thing I know, I'm face to face with Smokey Bear. Wow. And he told me it only takes one spark to start a wildfire.
Did you know 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans?
I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous and you're not. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service.
Entertainment Radio. And welcome back to the shooting range. I am your host. Well, that wasn't me, but I am your host, the old school thriller Jay Miller, and with me as always is Can't Keep Up,
Corey Haynes. Hey, you know what? Funny story. Listen. Funny you mentioned that because when my old job, I had a dishwasher that called me Corey Haynes for no reason whatsoever. He just started calling me Corey Haynes, and I'm not sure why, but it is what it is.
He's the one that died. Or is that Corey Feldman?
I don't even know if there's a Corey Haynes. I don't even know who that is.
Corey Haynes was one of the two Corys.
I don't recall.
Wasn't he the kid? Corey Haynes is a person, or was, or is.
Maybe. I'm not sure. We're going to have to look into that.
Maybe I am wrong. Corey, who is that?
I don't know. I don't know what planet
Corey Haim was who I'm thinking of.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, Corey Haim.
Maybe. I don't know. And who was that? Because I'm not familiar.
He was a child actor that ended up dying. Him and Corey Feldman were like best friends. They had the show My Two Corys.
Not that well. I'm gonna have to look into that. Maybe find some old episodes on YouTube or.
Probably not worth it.
You don't think so?
No, I don't know why I called you Corey Haynes.
Oh, that's okay. I've been called worse.
By me.
Call me anything. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Lord knows that would be a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't appreciate getting called late for dinner. I don't like my food cold. I get very angry.
He's an angry. Only you could prevent Corey from getting angry. Oh, Lord. What is going on in the world? Our last segment we had planned for you totally changed on us during the commercial breaks, and now we're just killing time.
Well, let's talk about school stuff, shall we?
Well, let's talk about how starting next Wednesday from 4 to 6, right after this show, switch that channel on over to North Coast Underground, and you can listen to the Long Ride Home with Michael Long and Corey Hennessy.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Corey Haynes. I don't know. One of them is going to be on there.
Corey Hennessy, Corey Feldman. Well, not Corey Feldman.
Not Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman ain't going to be there, hopefully.
You'd think I was a schizo with as many different kind of names I've got.
I don't know who this Michael Long guy is, but I heard
he's going to be a better host than Jay Miller.
Most likely. He all I know is I've heard that he is very popular with the ladies.
Oh.
But the ladies are not popular with him, is what I've heard.
I heard that he's a big Mankind fan.
I have not. I heard he hates wrestling.
There's a good possibility of that. I haven't heard that. I can neither deny nor confirm that.
I don't know. Well, have you heard anything about this Corey Hennessy guy?
No, I haven't heard much.
His name is awfully close to your name. That's kind of weird. His last name, at least.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's a distant cousin.
He's trying to steal your characters.
I'm gonna have to get like the 23andMe. Now I have a 23andMe.
You should probably get
one of those
lawyer.
DNA kits. I have it sitting at my house right now.
You should probably get a lawyer just in case he's trying to steal your gimmick.
Well, he can have my credit. He can steal my identity, and he ain't gonna get very far.
He can steal my debt.
Yes, he can have my debt.
We should do the shows from now on with masks on.
Oh, that would be sweet. That would
So
be
that
sweet.
way, like-
we could feel what would. Oh, I got headset on. Oh, it kind of wraps around. Now it fits better. Wow.
So look, if you can hear me at home with my mask on, then that means you can wear a mask and still breathe. So we got that. I just want to prove a point. Since we're just talking about
this is really uncomfortable. It's like really tight. I feel like I'm safe, but
feel safe.
I do feel safe.
I feel safe with you.
With me wearing a mask?
Yes.
But you don't know where I've been.
I don't.
You don't. Okay. Well, I'm surprised they haven't come out with since we're shooting from the hip.
I just want to say, with that mask on, you go from a 2 to a like 5.5.
So you're saying from like
Huge improvement.
a little bit above the tip of the nose up, kind of makes me look good, but then like the nose down,
right, is ogreish.
Donkey. Well, what I'm gonna say is, surprised that WWE hasn't come out with some crazy, stupid gimmick like Mask Man or something. I mean, obviously they've had wrestlers with masks,
Yeah.
but like
Bray Wyatt.
what if they had somebody that came out and was like a germaphobe?
Because then that would
That would make them look bad because
Well,
they've kind of just been not following that. But that would be pretty ironic, is
it
what
would
I'm saying.
it would make mask look like a good idea, and Vince probably don't think they are. So, I mean, Kevin Dunn told people don't wear a mask on camera.
Dun,
It doesn't look good.
Oh, copywritten.
Bucky Beaver himself,
Really?
Kevin Dunn, told people they couldn't wear masks. So, WWE kind of deserves what they get at that point.
Well, Kevin Owens was really pushing for masks.
He was, and that's when they kind of started wearing, and that's another thing that, one of the rumors is that now that they are at the Amway Center, the rumor is that Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar may be coming back now, that it's kind of more spaced out.
Where exactly is the Amway Center?
It's in Orlando. But the problem with the Performance Center is it's so small that it'd be easy for stuff to kind of travel in there. So they're, with the Amway Center being a much bigger area, they're hoping that maybe it's safer for.
That would make sense considering Goldberg's got matches.
Not Goldberg, but Brock.
Well, you said Goldberg earlier.
I corrected myself.
Okay,
obviously
but,
you didn't
but
pay
because
attention.
I wasn't paying attention, obviously. But going back to Goldberg, we're just going to talk about Goldberg for a second. There was a big rumor that they were trying to get him over in AEW. And then just recently was revealed that he has like 2 matches a year planned for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I think, is it next 3 years?
I want
or
to say
next 2
2023.
years?
And how old? He's what, in his 50s now,
Oh,
right?
he's old now, but then they expect 2 matches a year out of him?
I mean, he couldn't. I
don't know if I'm
They're going to have to be very short gimmick. It'll be a
Very
spear.
short.
It'll be like Survivor Series.
Okay, and here's the thing I don't get. When this pandemic started, WWE made all these cuts to good guys. I mean, guys that were talented.
Yeah.
And they're paying Goldberg a lot of money for 2 shows a year. Why keep Goldberg's contract and get rid of these other guys? I guarantee that pretty much everyone they released, all their contracts together, probably didn't even equal Goldberg's contract for 2 shows. For 2 appearances.
But if he was guaranteed, so that's what I don't know. Like, is he guaranteed that money through the rest? I mean, I don't know how contracts work. I've never had a WWE contract out in front of me. I have seen him on television. I've seen him signed because I know those are authentic.
Oh, those are real.
Authentic.
Those are legit.
That you can be signed with blood.
Oh, yeah.
But I've
As
never
long as
seen
it's
one.
signed, it don't matter how it's signed.
Yeah, with blood or ink.
Yeah.
Thumbprint.
Anytime in my life I've ever signed a contract, it always ends like WWE. I end up flipping the table over or putting someone through the table.
You just get
which makes it really weird when I lease a car. So, I mean, when I lease
I want to
It's
go
awkward.
next time you go lease a car.
You want to go with me?
I want to go with you. Can we make this happen?
It's really awkward because, I mean, the guy's like, oh, that's great. Your payments are $285 a month. Yada, yada, yada. It's protected for this many miles. And I'm like, thank you. We shake hands. He goes to leave, and I pull him back, hit the Batista bomb through the table. I finish signing the contract in his blood, throw it down on him, put my keys in the ignition of my brand new car, rev that baby up, and drive out of the parking lot.
Do you do the thumbs down too?
Oh, I do.
Or hand?
I do.
You shake with one hand.
Oh, yeah, shake
thumbs
with one
down.
hand. And when he goes to walk away, I pull him back and give him the thumbs down. He's like, huh? And when he goes, huh, is when I kick him.
Do you have like an entourage with you usually, or are you doing it solo?
Bro, I'm solo.
That seems pretty heelish.
I don't want
a manager.
I don't want no one steal my shine. I want the spotlight on me. Plus, I don't want no one's grubby fingerprints all over my new car because they'd probably have to ride back with me.
Yeah. Well,
And
look,
it's
why don't
too
you just
much.
get a convertible, put the top down, they can just hop in.
No.
And you could get a cool, pretty cool license plate.
Yeah, I could, but
I saw a license plate that Jay Mills the other day, and I thought of you.
You should have. You should have stole it for me.
I thought about following them. It was right down the street from where I live.
You should have followed them home, and while they were sleeping, even if they weren't sleeping. So here's what you should have did.
But here's the thing: there was only one because they didn't have to have a front plate now.
Well, I don't have
Because
to have a front plate.
in Ohio. You don't have a front
I only
plate.
need one.
You're right. You're right. But
So-
I figured you'd want the other one to hang in your house or something.
No, I would have hung that one in my house. I don't need it on my
Oh yeah,
cars.
that would be like stolen. Yeah, that's not a good
Yeah.
look.
All
That's
right,
not a
trying to
good
get me
look.
arrested. But here's what you should have did. Okay, you should have followed them until they got to their house. Memorized where they live. Maybe even write it down. Don't put it in your Google Maps because that could come
That
back
could
as
be
evidence.
evidence. Yeah, you're right.
So later on in the day, you should have
Oh.
came back.
I should probably clear my.
Yeah, your
Google
search
Map
history.
history.
Yeah. So later on in the day, you should have came back, crawled in the driveway. If they have a dog, put some chloroform, knock the dog out, climb into the house through, an open window, knock the husband out with a tire iron, tie the wife to the bed so she can't move.
This is getting really dark really quick. I'm not sure.
Wait, well, I mean, and then
Yeah, you got to
then
finish
you
this statement.
sneak back outside. Well, you got to go to the garage, find a screwdriver, sneak back outside, unscrew the plate, and bring it to me.
I won't charge you that much
I
either.
appreciate it.
You'll get a.
I mean, you probably could have got the plate without doing all that other stuff, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah,
Just something to think about.
I will consider it. If I see it again, I will make sure
That you do all those things.
I will go back and listen to this
Chloroform.
radio show. See, that might offend some people. The whole chloroform thing. Does this rag smell like chloroform to you? It's not really a good look.
Well, you're doing it to a dog, so I mean,
But that's
people
yeah,
care more about dogs than people 9 times out of 10.
You know, it's wild, but I mean, I love my dog. If someone
Oh, I
ever
love-
chloroformed my dog,
I'd kill him. Oh yeah, I would probably hurt someone before. I'd probably be mad at someone for hurting my dog before I would them hurting my spouse. Because if they hurt my spouse, I'm like, they probably deserved it. But
yeah,
if they hurt my dog, I'm like, he is innocent and you're an evil person.
yes, that would be sweet if they had like more just regular people gimmicks. Like, they always had like the plumber and Isaac Yankum.
So
Dr.
they have a
Isaac
dog-
Yankum.
so they have a dog
walker,
catcher?
a dog
A dog
catcher, or a
walker?
dog walker.
Have a dog walker and a dog catcher and have them feud.
Oh, that would be
Like
too
the dog
perfect.
walker's just like walking in the Thunderdome with dogs on a leash, and then the dog catchers comes up and he's like, I don't like the way those dogs are on that long of a leash. You need to shorten that leash or I'm taking that dog. Boom, you have a feud.
Yes, that's a good idea. Let's do that, and let's get it up to creative. See what they think.
I'm gonna text
Right
Bruce-
next to Mask Man.
I'm gonna text Bruce Pritchard right now with that idea and have him get back to me.
That's a good idea, but
I mean,
a better idea
he'll
though.
probably take credit for it if it is a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it was your idea.
Yeah,
I get that all the time. Get that all the time. No, but that would be cool if they kind of went back to normal people gimmicks, but not. That probably wouldn't be cool. Maybe they could just
like
have
the plumber. You want to go back to the day where everyone had a second job. You had plumbers, you had hockey players, you
the
had
goon. Yeah,
race car drivers, you had dentists, pirates,
I'm thinking about going to
clowns.
Knox and.
cops,
What do you think? You want?
robbers. You had them all. Cowboys.
I'm gonna go to Knox County. Isn't that where Mr. Kane is?
He's the mayor of Knox County.
Yeah, I have some family out there. They met Kane a couple times. It's pretty sweet. I haven't. I wasn't that
Did he
fortunate.
choke slam him?
No.
He's anti-mask, which is really weird.
Well, you wear a mask.
He's
for
probably
years.
he's probably like, I grew up
Well-
having to wear a mask. Why doesn't Kane still need the voice box? I think Kane should bring back the voice box. I mean, can you imagine they're like, now we're introducing Mayor Kane, and he comes up there and he's like, I am your mayor. You must not wear a mask.
I think it's kind of cool that he comes out with the COVID numbers all the time.
Does he?
You know, my family that's in.
It would be even better if he did it with the voice box like this.
Well, I'm just saying that he posts them. I don't know if he actually goes like live.
He should.
That would be cool. Maybe they should do something like that. But my relative that lives in that area, she always shares the.
What if when Aide tried
thing?
What if like during a press conference an Aide came up and was like, Mr. Jacobs, and tries to correct him on something, and he just does that old school Kane thing where he makes a bolt of lightning come from the ceiling.
Oh, that would scare everybody. Oh, I would.
Don't interrupt me.
I'd subscribe. I'll tell you that.
To the Kane Network?
Yeah, the Kane Network.
The Knox Network.
That's
there we go. I just made them some money.
But the point that I was originally getting at before we ran off in this tangent.
There's actual points made on this show?
Yeah, sometimes. The point is I'd like to just randomly go up to him and just ask him to start checking out my mouth. Like, it would be funny, right? Like a dentist, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I don't have health insurance.
He probably wouldn't even think about the dentist thing. He would just be like, you're a creep.
Probably. It's been so long. I mean, or, we could go Christmas tree status.
Yeah, yeah. I just know that if I ever meet him, I am going to take one of those fake voice boxes, and that's just how I'm going to talk the whole time. He's like, hello, citizen, did you vote for me? I'm like, I voted for me.
Okay.
I just think the voice box needs to come back.
There's a good chance.
It needs to be. Back. He's not a real mayor until he brings a voice box.
What's it wild to me? Because hasn't he relatively during COVID times? Wasn't he on programming at any point?
No, he hasn't been on programming since the COVID thing started. I think his last appearance he appeared as Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County.
Oh.
So, what about Abyss appearing on SmackDown? Can't believe we forgot that.
Oh, Mankind. You know what I called him, and I didn't follow TNA at the time, but I always called him like Dollar Store
Mankind.
Because he just always had. I did watch a couple of his matches, and I would say he's semi-talented.
What do you say?
Very interesting, but I really didn't follow him at the time, and it's interesting. How long's he been away from Impact, or has it been a while?
I think it's been about 2 years now since we hired him. He's been hired by he's been working for WWE for about 2 years now.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
So he's just been like underground, not Raw underground.
He's been fighting in the depth pits of Shane McMahon's basement for Raw Underground, just hoping to get an opportunity when it made it to national TV. But before it did, AJ Styles scooped him up and said, hey, I need you to create a system for me to see who deserves to wrestle me. And that's what happened. And then this past weekend, he unveiled the phenomenal internal something system, PISS.
Oh.
That's what it was. That was the initials. Because you get it if the initials make out a bad word.
It's a lot more.
I love the adult educated humor that WWE has. It's like when Rosie was a superhero in training.
I remember that.
But see, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't remember.
3 minute warning?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it 2 minute warning?
It was 3 minutes.
It was 3 minutes.
It was 3 minutes.
Okay.
What a lot of people don't remember is that when Lance Storm had the hardcore title in WCW, he changed the name of all the titles. Like when he won the U.S. title, it became the Canadian title. When he won the Cruiserweight title, it became, I think, like the 120 kilos or less title. When he won the hardcore title, it was renamed the Saskatchewan Hardcore International title.
Oh, I don't think it takes a brain surgeon to spell out that.
It does. Well, you would be surprised. Thank God, 'cause we don't have many brain surgeons around here.
Not one in
So
sight.
we are completely fine.
Yeah, that without insulting anybody, but it's going to insult people. I mean, they do say that wrestling fans aren't known to be the most intelligent in a stereotypical way, and I don't agree with that. I definitely don't agree with that. But
You're just saying you don't agree with it because that's our fan base. I agree with it.
You okay? You are the heel over there.
I think it's time to wrap
It's ironic. No, we have to talk about
time
this.
to wrap it up
No,
now?
it's ironic because you're the heel of this. You're the bad guy, and I'm the baby face. But I'd hope no baby had this face. But
your mom said the same thing when you were born. I would hope no baby had this face.
Oh man. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Let's go ahead and wrap things up here.
Wrap things up
because my face is a little insulted right now, and I can't continue going on talking about.
You can't just go on like nothing happened. You can't just keep going on like nothing happened.
I'm hurting.
It's okay.
My ego has taken a hit.
You'll get over it.
Maybe. We'll see by next week.
By next week. If you're not here next week, then I will replace you with the Mick Foley doll in the window.
The one with one arm. One arm Foley.
I would replace you with Ric Flair, but someone stole
You know what?
it.
Let me do a quick glance. Let me just while I'm. Oh, where is Ricky? Not Mr. Manager.
Not done. Where is Ric Flair? He is AWOL. I'm not happy. That is a squeaky mic stand.
It is. Can we get some WD-40 in here?
What we are going to get is the end of this show, and we're going to save all you guys the torture of having to listen to us any longer. For All Elite, Squeaky Mike, Alan Henney, Corey Haynes, I-95, eastbound and down. Mr. No Fraud, All Bod, and
Corey's not here, but Alan Henney is.
I'm glad I wasn't the one to mess it up there. Corey Haynes and Alan Henney, the tag team duo. I am the old school Thriller J Miller.
Old school Jiller Thrill Miller?
I am the old school Thriller J Miller. This is The Shooting Range on allsportscleveland.com. And now you can all burn in hell.